Preston here. Guys, I'm so happy to have you guys on with me today. I'm going to go over a huge pain point that we get from a lot of our clients is, how exactly do you get leads online? And I'm going to try my best to break down the roadmap. And you can see I symbolically have a roadmap here that we take our customers through to helping them go from, starting to get their first leads online to having a system that's automated and a system that flows so you could get a steady flow of leads coming in on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. All right. So now I want you to keep in mind with this. I'm going to try and explain this in a way that we use it. But I would like you to think of if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to try and take this on yourself. I'm going to try and explain the way of the questions that you should be asking and things that you could hurdles that you're going to have to go through while you're trying to execute this process. All right. So without further ado, I know your time is important, so I'm going to jump right into it right here. And we usually start things off with a discovery call. So that's a meeting where we really try and help determine, are you ready to scale and are you ready to market your business online? All right. There are a couple key things that you're going to need to have in place for online marketing to work. And believe it or not, as simple as it seems, a lot of business owners that we come across, this is actually an exercise that we have to do with them to help them understand, are they ready to do any kind of marketing, whether it's online or offline, right? And the first thing that we want to find out from them is, do they know what makes the brand unique? Do they have what's called a value proposition in place? All right. You do not want to be in a situation where you're trying to sell a product and you haven't really identified what industry it is you are working in and be able to explain it to an actual customer. Because if you can't explain it, it's going to be very understand for them to understand. It's going to be very difficult for them to understand what exactly it is that you offer, right? So I always try and ask them to explain to me their business or their service that they're offering in a way that somebody as little as 5 years old can understand it. All right. So to give you a quick example of that, let's say a doctor, right? A doctor is a very simple one. If you want to explain, if you're a doctor and you want to explain what you do, I help people get better, right? Or I help fix sick people, right? So that's very, very simple that anybody could understand. Same thing for a vet. A vet helps pets, right? Get better, right? So that's very, very different from two different types of doctors, but one focuses on people, one focuses on pets. And that's why you want to make sure that your product is very clear and concise with that. And once you've landed that, go check out that term. And we actually do have a couple tools that we use, like through Google My Business, to see what are the common terms that people would define themselves under, and then look at who else is in that niche. Are your competitors there? Is that the right product or service that you should be marketing? All right. Then it comes down to understanding who's your ideal customer, right? The reason why you want to do that is because a mistake that a lot of people do is they try to advertise to everybody. And when you do that, the two challenges that happen is that, you have to have very big budgets to do so. And so you'll end up burning through a lot of money if you haven't spent the time defining your ideal customer. And then number two, you're not going to be able to use online marketing channels the best way that they can. Most platforms out there allow you to target people at minimum based on location, right? So if you're geographically limited within, a certain number of kilometers or a certain city or a certain country, you want to make sure that you've identified that that's where your ideal customer will be coming from. Also, age might play a factor. If your product is targeting, like for example, a real estate agent, right? There's no point marketing to 18 or 19-year-olds because the chances of an 18 or 19-year-old being able to buy a home are a lot less likely than a 30-year-old or 35-year-old. All right. Then gender, is your product gender specific, right? If you can narrow down your gender specific, then you've just cut out half of your advertising budget. You become twice as efficient by being able to target one niche, one gender versus the other. And then you want to go into looking at things like, interests, where, what are they interested in? What platforms are they using online, right? Where they're researching your kind of products. These are kind of questions that really narrow down the interests and behaviors. And it's going to help you know exactly where you should invest your marketing dollars, whether it's online, whether it's offline, or even on what platforms online that you should be. Okay. Once you've got that down, then we would normally put together a proposal, right? Where we design a funnel proposal for the client. But what you want to do is you want to map out that process that your customer is going to go through from where they get to know, like, and trust you, right? And to do that, we spend a lot of time doing some data analysis we call this reverse engineering your competitions, seeing where other competitors are advertising or marketing themselves online and making sure that you're there as well. right? We'll also do some keyword research, right? Identifying, what are people searching to get to that solution? What answers are they looking for? How can you help them along that journey to coming up with a solution? Because remember, most products or services, you're helping solve a problem that people have. And if you can help them with many steps along the way, chances are when they're ready to make an investment, a monetary investment or pay, which is what your business drives on, they'll invest with you, right? And then this other one is called the SWOT analysis. It stands for strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what are some of the strengths in your industry? What are some of the things you can leverage off with? What are some of the opportunities that you can come in and fill a gap, right? And then obviously we talked about before, but doing your competitive research, you versus your competitors. The next step here is to design a blueprint. So put everything together. And this is when we go in and we start to design everything that we spoke about in the previous step in the proposal or the funnel. This is where a lot of businesses get caught up. This is where the tech stuff happens. And this is where a little bit more of the skill set kind of kicks in. And we say this kind of like the science part of marketing where you take up that part. And very often this is where people need our help, right? Just to get this little hurdle done, and we'll help you get through doing this stuff. And some of the things that we want to look at that point is, what does your sales copy look like? What are you going to put on the landing page when people go there? What are you going to collect emails? Or you can collect name? What emails will you send out to them, right? What call to actions? How are you going to get them to take the action and go to the next step, right? As well as, what ads are we going to put in front of them, in front of the customer to make them take that next step with you? The next step would be, creative assets. What creative assets do you have in place, and which ones do we have to have creative, right? Do you have a brand? Do you have a logo? Do you have fonts, right? Are these things in place? Do you have images that we can use? Are there any videos that we can use for video marketing? Because we know video marketing is a great way to get your brand exposed very quickly, right? And then again, what pages are we going to show them to? What web pages do we already have that we can use? And then what web pages do we have to build? On to the next one is, tracking and analytics, right? If you don't have tracking and you don't have analytics in place, there's a very good possibility you'll be spending a lot of money and not knowing what's happening, right? I often say the analogy of this is, going bowling and somebody having a sheet between you and the pins, right? So you send it down, you hear the fall, but you don't know, was that one pin, was that two pins, was that a strike? And having analytics lets you see the full picture of your setup of your marketing. And analytics takes two parts. It's one part setting it up properly, which is something that we specialize in doing. But also the tracking part of it is also very important. It's going back and looking at that data and seeing, I sent 100 people to that page. How many of them actually went through to the next step? So we can see what parts of the funnel or the process is broken, right? So you want to make sure that you have these things set up. You want to have the basic, which is Google Analytics. You want to have a fallback with, if you're doing a funnel tracking, you want to make sure you track it all the way through. You want to make sure you set up conversion tracking so that we know what a success looks like. And then we can also train the marketing platform algorithms as to what success looks like, right? So they could know, okay, if somebody gets to this page, that's a conversion. So we need to find more people that does that, right? Then installing things like pixels or tracking codes on the page. And then also making sure we set up, we create our retargeting audiences from day one so that we have them in the future when we're running other campaigns and we want to market to them. Because retargeting is a huge part of saving and making your marketing a lot more efficient. All right, everybody still following me? All right, we're almost done. I'm going to go on to the next step, which is now we've had all the work is done, the preparation's been done. Now we're going to go in and launch the campaign and see, and now is our opportunity for us to test our hypothesis, right? So we would state who we think our ideal customer is. Let's just see how is our ideal customer reacting. Is it, should we have been targeting, 25 to 55, or maybe it's smaller, maybe it should be 35 to 45, right? So that's where us, launching the campaign, monitoring it on an ongoing basis, and optimizing the campaign, that's where you're going to really be able to maximize on your return on your investment and get the maximum return on your ad spend, right? Do not practice set and forget marketing. We've proven time and time again that's a really bad way of doing things, and you're going to really, if your campaigns aren't already expensive off the bat, you're going to notice the cost of it is going to creep up more and more as they become a little less effective over time. You've got to be able to be on it and react as need be. All right. Now, once all that stuff's done, now it's time to repeat on the results, So you've got a funnel in place, kind of looking like this, where you've got traffic coming from different platforms. They go into the lead magnet. You're getting people opting in. They're getting into your email sequence. Okay, what do we got to do next? We got to find ways to optimize and maximize on your investment. So we got to find out ways to get better traffic, which equals better leads. Better leads equals to more customers for your brand, and then it will often lead to more profit. All right. So that is our overall roadmap that we take people through. It seems pretty simple. There are lots of little parts in here that we can definitely develop on more. But if you have something like this in place, you're set up to be successful online. And most importantly, you're set up to have a system where you can have a steady flow of constant leads coming into your business. And that steady flow will help keep fueling your business growth as time goes on. All right. If this was helpful, definitely leave a comment below. If you have any questions, also feel free to reach out to myself or the team. And I would definitely encourage you, if you are stuck anyway along the process, reach out to me. We also offer a free consultation. So if you want to go through this with actually one of our team members to see the actual process in place, feel free to reach out to us. Let us know a little bit about what you're looking for, what you want to do, and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. All right. I'll talk to you soon.